Could you just tell me what the price for the stay would be?
Great choice, Liam. The flexible cancellation rate for your 3-night stay comes to a total of €336.
I'm about to share something with you which will frustrate you, it'll excite you, it might worry you, but it'll also open your eyes. And that is that the hotel front desk, like we know it at the moment, will become obsolete within the next 5 years. Quickly think back to this situation for me. A customer calls your hotel and the phone call isn't answered. Now, the problem with this is that somebody is stuck in the waiting line for a while just to not even get an answer. Two things are the result: either your brand awareness goes down, slowly creeping in over time, or you lose a reservation. Both of those aren't great, and the only way to combat this is to spend a lot of money to find and hire new staff to handle these phone calls. Now let's quickly imagine the opposite. Imagine that no phone call goes unanswered. Imagine that customer requests, bookings, cancellations are easy, and questions are handled immediately. This would mean that your staff is actually way more relaxed and can focus on the things that build relationships with guests and aren't overwhelmed during these peak times where your phone is just constantly ringing. This is exactly what AI-powered phone systems are designed to do. They are not supposed to replace people, but it's here to empower them by handling the repetitive tasks that consume most of their valuable time. I've broken this video down into 3 parts. First of all, I'll show you what an agent like this would look like. Second, I'll show you exactly how to build one. And the third step is breaking down the costs of why this investment is something you should definitely at least consider moving into 2025. Let's dive in.
Welcome to Dumo Hotel Geneva. My name is Anthony. How may I assist you today?
Hi Anthony, my name is Liam. What activities can I do at the hotel?
Hi Liam, great to hear from you. At Dumo Hotel Geneva, we offer a range of activities to make your stay enjoyable. You can relax at our luxury spa, take a dip in the indoor pool, or enjoy fine dining at our on-site restaurant. We're also centrally located, so exploring Geneva is super convenient. Is there something specific you're interested in?
Yeah, I'd like to make a booking.
Of course, Liam. I just need a few details to find the perfect room for you. How many guests will be staying, and what are your desired check-in and check-out dates?
I'd like to stay for 3 nights starting next Tuesday, and it's for me and my wife.
Got it, Liam. So that's 2 guests checking in next Tuesday, March 18th, and staying for 3 nights, checking out on Friday, March 21st. Does that sound correct?
Yes, that sounds correct.
One moment, I'm just checking availability. All right, Liam, we have 2 offers available for your stay. 1, deluxe room with breakfast. Included, this is a spacious room with a balcony, a whirlpool, and a king-size bed. Breakfast is included each morning. 2, deluxe room with flexible rate, the same luxurious room, but with a flexible cancellation policy, allowing free cancellation until midnight the day before arrival. Let me know if you'd like more details about either option, or if you're ready to proceed with booking.
Yes, I'm ready to book. I think I'd like the second option with a flexible cancellation rate. Could you just tell me what the price for the stay would be?
Great choice, Liam. The flexible cancellation rate for your 3-night stay comes to a total of €336. Now I just need to collect a few details to complete your booking. Could you please provide your full name, email address, and phone number? Also, let me know if you have any specific requests for your stay.
Yes, my full name is Liam Parker, and my email is luminadigital.media@gmail.com, and my wife likes coconut water, so if you could have some of that ready upon arrival, that would be fantastic.
Thank you, Liam. So, I have your name as Liam Parker and your email as luminadigital.media@gmail.com. Is that correct? Also, I'll make a note to have some coconut ready for your wife upon arrival. Great touch. Could you also provide your phone number to finalize the booking?
Of course, my phone number would be 01234567.
Okay, I'm finalizing the booking. Liam, your booking has been successfully completed. Thank you for choosing to stay at Dumo Hotel Geneva. You'll receive a confirmation email shortly. Please keep an eye out for it, as it's your final confirmation. We wish you safe travels, and the team is looking forward to welcoming you and your wife next week. Let us know if there's anything else we can assist you with.
Yes, I was wondering what would be the check-in time. When could I check in?
Sure thing, Liam. Check-in time is at 4 p.m. If you have any other questions or need further assistance, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you soon.
Now that you've seen what this AI actually looks and feels like, let me show you how to build one. Basically, this is a very basic conversation flow of what the AI will be able to do. And I'm actually going to throw up a little time lapse now of how I arrived at this, because the main process for me to find and lock in on the solution is to first of all think about what is the current process, what happens in a hotel when somebody calls, and then you map that out and you go from there, because it can be very tempting to try and reinvent systems with AI, although all you have to do is try and model them and teach the AI how to do what already works. When the caller calls, first of all, the AI is taught to answer any questions. These questions can be answered based on a knowledge base, which is it's basically just a list of Q&A questions, or it can be a description of your hotel, maybe a list of your rooms, activities. You can also include your website, basically all the info that you want the AI to have access to. Afterwards, one of three things usually happens. Either they want to cancel, change a reservation, or make a new booking. In the case of a new booking, the AI would decide to go down here and first of all check for an available offer, present that to the caller, work with them, and then book it in the current software, which is in our case Paleo is a very common software for hotels to manage reservations and different properties. And last, it sends a confirmation email to the caller. In case of changing a reservation, basically it deletes the old reservation first, then collects details of what the new booking should look like, and then leads it down this flow again to make a new reservation. In the case of cancelling, I've added the step to ask it if it doesn't want to change the reservation, because oftentimes people don't want to cancel, they just want to move. So this is another little system to catch a bit of additional revenue. But if they want to delete the reservation, it asks for the details such as the booking ID, and then can make the cancellation in the software and send a confirmation email. This is the very basic overview, and one last thing that's very important is to add the ability to transfer to a human agent. This is something that the AI can do anytime in the call when it doesn't know how to answer a question, or the caller asks to speak with a human. It can of course reroute this to a human agent. Now, this is the actual agent build itself, and of course this looks a lot more complex than what we had before, but I'll walk you through step by step. In order to actually complete this, you're going to need three softwares: Retail AI, Make.com, and also OpenAI. This is called a conversational flow agent. It's an option you can select within Retail, and instead of just giving it one prompt and telling it this is your task, these are your tools, do your best, you can actually specify the specific workflows and things it should say, details it should collect. So it's it is a lot more fixed, but it also eliminates a lot of the mistakes an AI would usually make. The first thing you need to do is specify the overall prompt. I've already done a video on prompting, I'll leave that up here, and I'll also leave a link to my custom GPT in the description, which I use to write my prompt myself. It's basically an assistant for writing these prompts, making it a lot faster. Basically, all we've done is given it a role, a name, Anthony, telling it that it needs to help with bookings, with cancellations, and with questions. Then we provided details such as keeping the response clear and structured, using the guest's name, confirming the details before making a booking. Then the next thing that's very important is adding the current date and time. This is a variable you can add within Retail. Literally just write this, and this allows the agent to know the current time, because as you saw in the example, I didn't say I want to book from the 15th to the 18th. I said I want to book from tomorrow till next Saturday. And that is of course an option that we have to have available, because the AI would otherwise think that it's still 2022 or something. So this is very, very crucial. The next thing that we should definitely add is how to pronounce phone numbers. Now, you'd think that the AI would know, but it doesn't. If you don't specifically tell it to write it in this, to speak phone numbers in this format, it'll try to say the numbers all at once, and it won't sound any good. So make sure to specify how it should say phone numbers. And once again, the AI that I've made, the custom GPT, already knows this and includes this in your prompt. Next, you can specify how it should talk and also add any notes if something isn't working. You can also, by the way, this is probably the most fun part, select the language and the voice. There's a ton of voices to choose from. Take your pick. You can of course choose between OpenAI, 11 Labs, and PlayHT. I prefer 11 Labs. In my opinion, you can just make up your own mind, but 11 Labs is, in my opinion, the nicest sounding voice. Next is adding a knowledge base. We'll do this together because it's really simple. You click on Add a new knowledge base. Then you click on plus, give it a name. And then you can add one of three things. You can add all three as well if you want to. And then you can add the actual knowledge. This will either be a website, you can provide the link to your website and the AI will look through your website and have all the details there, or you can upload a file or just write some text manually. Then you click on save and it's saved here. And then going back to the agent, you click on add and then select the knowledge base that you've just made. Very, very simple. Speech settings, you can play around with these if you like. Basically here you can determine how quickly the AI responds back or how easily it can be interrupted. And you can leave most of these settings the way it is. One thing that I find very useful though is the pronunciation. For example, this hotel was called Dumo Hotel Geneva, but of course it's spelled Dumont. And in English AI would pronounce it Dumont, but it should be pronounced Dumont. So in this case we could specify how this word should be pronounced. Next you can go through the call settings. You can just basically leave all of this the way it is. You don't need to touch any of this. If you want to, feel free to go deeper, but for most of you that won't apply. Nice, so we've done the overall prompt. Let's go into the actual workflow of this. So first of all, you have a begin node. And here you can just specify who speaks first, the human or the AI. In the case of an inbound agent like this, who takes phone calls when they come through, I would always have the AI speak first. And here you can just add you click here to add a conversation node, and then you can specify if you want it to be a prompt or a static sentence. In this case, I've just left it at a static welcome sentence. Now, the next feature is what makes this really, really clever. You have these things called global nodes. As you can see, all of these things are always hooked up together, and there's a workflow. All of these are connected. But the global nodes, they aren't connected to anything. And that's because we want the AI to fluidly transition between tasks. In this case, what you can do is specify jump to this node if the caller wants to make changes to a reservation, or if the caller wants to cancel a booking. And then the AI will jump to this node and then continue down this workflow. Let's walk through them one by one. So say, for example, the caller says, I want to make a new reservation. Then it would go down here to this global node, which is specified to jump here if the caller wants to start making a booking. Then in here, we have a prompt telling it to collect the details, how many guests, and the check-in and check-out date. Repeat that back to the caller, ask for confirmation, and then move on to the next node. The next node is a function. And basically what a function is it allows you to send information to different platforms and then actually retrieve information, for example, from the software Apaleo, which is used to make the reservations. In order to make a function, you have to write a little bit of code, but ChatGPT can help with this, of course. You give it a name and a description, and then in here, you add a JSON schema. And basically, you add variables. These are small bits of information that get extracted from the conversation. So for example, the check-in date, we've told it to extract the check-in date, the number of guests, and also the checkout date. And all of this, through this link here, is then sent to a make.com workflow. As you'll see, this link is the same one. This just sends over the information, and that then gets sent into the Apaleo module here, which is search for the different offers, and you add these variables in. So this is, for example, the specified check-in date, the checkout date, and the guest count. This will then return the available offers, which are combined into one. This is very technical, not super relevant, but basically it gets channeled into a format that can be sent back through here. So now what we've done is we've collected the details of who needs to stay and how long. That gets sent to make.com, which is able to connect and integrate with the current booking software and then retrieve the available offers for that time, which then gets sent back to the AI. And the next prompt is basically to list the offers first of all just focus on the differences and then help the caller to answer any specific questions such as the pricing. And here, once again, if the caller wants to check for a different offer, you can specify the transition conditions down here. If the caller is not happy with the rooms provided, it can do the search again for a different date and time. But if the caller is happy, you get sent down here. And basically, this is just for finalizing the booking. It collects the full name, the email, phone number, and any specific requests. It repeats them back to the caller and then executes a second tool call, which leads to another make workflow, which is called this hotel process the time slices. This was the headache of the whole build. It's very technical, but basically what happens is that in Apaleo, when you look at the availability, the annoying thing here is that every single night has a different price. So it's not like a flat fixed rate for a standard room, but the prices vary. And in order to extract these, it's a lot of information, of course. And we've managed to extract the information so that you actually get an accurate price as well. So it calculates everything like the normal system would. And then in make.com, we have to retrieve that information back, whichever option they selected, retrieve that information back, format it, send it across to another workflow, because for whatever reason it only accepted it if it was an incoming piece of data called create booking. And then it uses the Apaleo module to create the booking under the name, the correct email and phone number. And it writes a short confirmation email and sends that to the specified email. That's pretty much it. It looks quite seems quite straightforward, but as with a lot of these things, there's a lot of back and forth and testing involved. So this is a little bit of a nightmare, but as with everything, you can push through, and in terms of technical stuff, there is always a solution. There's always a solution, which is why at this point in time, when we get asked to build something, we don't really ask them, is it possible? We just ask them, should we build it in the first place? That's the big question mainly. Anyway, now moving on to the next parts. Once the booking is confirmed, it informs the caller that an email will arrive and it ends the call. This is, in terms of skills that you just learned, this is basically all you need to know. All the other pathways are just another different combination of the set of functions and tools that you've learned. So for example, if they want to make changes to a reservation, they first of all get led down here, collecting the booking ID. That gets sent to another make workflow, which is the cancellation workflow. And that then executes the cancellation module in here, where we've collected the booking ID, that gets sent across, and that specific booking gets cancelled. And as we said before, in terms of making a change to the reservation, it first of all cancels the old one and then goes through the flow that we just described to create a new one. Next, if you want to actually cancel, it first of all collects the reason for the cancellation, asks them if they don't want to reschedule. If they do want to reschedule, it just leads them up here. And if they just want to cancel, then it goes through here and cancels the booking like normal. This last one down here is if the caller wants to talk to a human or the AI can't answer a question, then it'll use the transfer call function to transfer to a different number and talk to a human agent. All right, that was a lot of input in terms of technical stuff. Of course, this is not a step-by-step tutorial. This would take way too long. If you want to see that, we can do a live stream or a step-by-step build, like a 2 or 3 hour long one if you'd like. Yeah, I hope this gave you an overview of the types of workflows and the things that you have to think about when building one of these agents. Next, I'd like to show you actually how much one of these solutions would cost and if it's worthwhile as a hotel owner to invest in one of these. So this is a spreadsheet with 2 different scenarios, and the setup cost of one of these ranges between 2 grand and 10 grand and above, depending on the complexity of the solution. I want to walk you through the very worst case scenario of one of these ones. So let's say it costs 10 grand to set up and you only replace one receptionist that doesn't have to take the phone calls anymore. Let's say you get 60 calls a day, roughly 1.8 thousand calls a month with an average cost per call of 5 cents. We arrived at this because If you go to retail, the cost per minute is 0.125 euros per minute. So if you have an average of 3-4 minutes, then it'll per call, it'll work out to be about 5 cents per call. Nice. So the only thing we'd look at is the cumulative savings. Basically, after month 1, you've already spent 10 grand. You're of course still going to be catching up. And this is going to be for the first few months, you're going to be catching up. But after month 4 or 5, you can see that this really starts to pay off. Because in terms of the maintenance of one of these, it only costs 900 bucks a month, compared to a receptionist who would cost like minimum 2.6 thousand, with all the taxes and insurance and stuff that you have to put on top. This is a very, very conservative number again. So if you keep going down the year, if you just invest in one of those and keep them for 1 year, you can see that this works out to be almost 12 grand saved in the most worst case scenarios of worst case scenarios. If you look at a much more realistic scenario, say you've got 2 receptionists which are answering calls all day, which means you're paying 5.2 grand a month, and the company setting one of these up only charges 5 grand for the setup fee. Then after month 2 already, you've made 3.5 grand profit. And at the end of the year, you've made 45,000 euro profit just with one of these solutions. Now, it's important to keep in mind here that this is only, of course, the savings, but you also have to look at what you're making. Because in terms of actually being able to answer the phone, if somebody's in the hold line and checking maybe last minute for different companies and different hotels, if you're the one who's able to answer, you're going to most likely get the deal. So this AI doesn't only save you money, but it enables you to make more money by always being there 24/7 for people who want to make bookings. Alright, I hope that I was able to provide some value in these past few minutes. If you learned something new, make sure to leave a like and also share this video with someone who hasn't seen this type of solution yet. If you're a hotel owner or part of the management team and you're looking at AI but are not quite sure where to start, that's exactly why for the next 30 days we are offering free AI consultation calls. We'll take a look at your processes and tell you exactly which AI solution would help your hotel the most. We'll also train up your staff, and if you need help with any of these solutions, setting them up and integrating them into your hotel business, that is what we do here at Vant AI. Use the first link in the description to book a free consultation call either with myself or one of my team. I look forward to hearing from you, and in the meantime, check out this video I made on the hottest 5 use cases for AI in hotels 2025.